Another high school basketball season is upon us. And if you're a high school basketball player, pretty soon you're going to learn what is going to be the role that you'll have on the team at the beginning of the season. Well, today I wanted to share a really valuable piece of advice that I got years ago from a Division I head coach on the best role that you can have on a basketball team. Let's jump in and discuss. Welcome back to Heart Smart Together. I'm Coach Dave. I'm here every week to help basketball players become the smart, confident players that coaches love. So I got some advice from a Division I head coach years ago. And at the time, I was actually coaching at the Division II level. And I had met this head coach over at USF during my high school coaching career. I used to take my teams over for team camp at USF. And so I had gotten to know this head coach, and as I entered and was moving up through the college ranks with my coaching career, I wanted to go over and talk to them and get some advice from them on, my career and the stage I was at and where I had come from and where I wanted to go. Really my dream role within coaching basketball. And they gave me some advice that I really wish I had have heard as a high school basketball player. I really wish I had heard it even as a college basketball player. I wish I had heard this advice as a high school coach, because I was always looking at my next role. I was always aspiring to be in a role that was more than the role I had. Here I had, come up and I was in Division II, but I was talking to this coach, how do I get to Division I? How do I become a Division I, first assistant? How do I, eventually become a head coach at the Division I level? That was really my focus, right? I wanted a career path and I wanted it yesterday. And they gave me this great piece of advice that I share with you today. And most advice is real simple and short. And they looked at me and said, Coach, the best role that you can have with a basketball team? It's the role you have today. And that got me thinking, to be really present in the role that I have. So today what I want to do is share with you 3 ways that you can focus on the role that you're going to have on your team this year while still aspiring to those dream roles that you have in the future. Now, before I get started, I always like to give you a free gift just for listening in, just for joining me today. So if you haven't already downloaded the 8 intangible skills that coaches love to see in players, this is a great checklist of skills and kind of some ways that you can work on them that are perfect review, even if you know these skills, but they're perfect review going into a fresh season. As always, I'll put a link in the description below, or you can simply go to hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles, and I'll be sure to get you that free gift. So, what are the 3 ways that you can really embrace the role that you have today while still aspiring to a greater role on your current team, or maybe playing on a higher team, or whatever the case is, whatever you dream, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, you can still work towards those. Well, number 1 is focus on being the best at your role today. Okay, that doesn't matter if you are even, maybe you didn't make the team, but the coach asked you to be a manager, right? Be the best manager you can be. I've seen managers become practice players, and then when injuries mount up, eventually become players, right? And then they're playing in games, right? So be the best manager you can be today. Maybe you are a bench player. Maybe you made, the team based on just pure hustle and some of the things that we've talked about and giving you some advice on how to make a team. Maybe you made it and you're a bench player. You're a practice player. Be the best practice player. Be the best at preparing the starters, preparing the players with greater roles to be successful, okay? Maybe you are, a six man, or maybe you are coming off the bench, but you want to be a starter. Be the best role player that you can be. Maybe you're the defensive stopper. You have dreams of being an offensive player and knocking down threes and scoring 30 points a game, but right now the coach wants you and needs you to be the defensive stopper. Or, whatever that role is, embrace that role today and focus on being the best at that role today, because that will help you prepare for your next role, your next, step in the ladder towards your dream role on this team or the next team or whatever the case might be. The second thing I would say is don't let your disappointment in the role that you receive hold you back from being on that ladder and moving forward on your basketball journey. If you didn't make varsity this year, you made JV, again, be the best JV player you can. Get noticed. So many times I see players so disappointed and so down and so complaining about the role. I should have made varsity. I should be starting. I should have made the team. I shouldn't be a manager, right? And then they let their attitude and their effort really dictate that they're really never going to make that next step because they're so down, they're hanging their head, they're so disappointed, they let it show. It affects their relationships with, the other people on the team, the players, the coaches, everybody. It affects how the coaches look at you and when that opportunity arises for that next step. When the coach is looking to bring somebody up from JV to varsity or from freshman to JV or whatever the case might be. Don't let your attitude and your disappointment hold you back. Let it fuel a positive energy that actually enables you to be the best in your role. Because what's the best role you can have on a team? The role you have today. I mean, that's what that coach, that Division I head coach, was trying to tell me when they told me that little saying, right? They were saying, listen, you're a Division II first assistant coach. You've accomplished so much. Yes, you're on the trajectory, but keep going. Embrace the role you have. It can go for coaches. It can go for players, right? I'm speaking to you as players, but it can go in the future when you're in a career. There's so many things that this applies to embrace the role you have today. And then the last thing I would say that will help you embrace today's role is have an attitude of gratitude, right? I had to step back as a coach and go, how many coaches out there, how many high school coaches would love to be coaching in college? How many high school coaches would love to get an opportunity at the Division II level to be a first assistant, right? How many coaches would love to be in my shoes? Well, you got to ask yourself that as a player, right? You're lucky. You're lucky to have the arms and the leg and the brain and the eyes and everything you have that enable you to play the game of basketball, first and foremost. But you're lucky to be on a team, to be part of something, to be part of a team. Whatever role you're playing on that team, there are players out there or potential players that would love to be in your shoes because for them, your role is exactly where they are trying to get to. They're still trying to make a team. They're still trying to work on their game. They're still trying to be noticed by a coach. So embrace the role and build the relationships that you can build. Build the memories that you can build over the course of this next season while embracing any role you have. The best role you can have on a basketball team is the role you have. And then that doesn't mean you're not aspiring, you're not working hard, you're not trying for that next level. It just means that you are going to be grateful, embrace, and be the best at what you are today, not letting that hold you back from where you want to go. So hopefully this was helpful as you enter into this season. If it was, give me a like, give me a comment below if this resonates with you as it did with me when that Division I head coach shared this kind of bit of wisdom with me. It really resonated, and I've carried that forward going forward. So if it resonated with you, give me a comment below. And until next week, remember to play hard, play smart, and play together. See you next week.